Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Puteri Natasha, Binti Nor Azlan, Matric number 12000829. Today I would like to present retirement planning for my client, which Mr. Azlan, which is my own father. So, what is the content of my retirement planning? The first step is the introduction of how the client want to start to plan their retirement for their retirement day. And the second one is the background of the client itself, their age, their plan, what their plan to retire, how many children they have, the work experience, and so on. And for the financial circumstances, they tell about the EPF withdrawal story, the net worth statement, and the financial circumstances of the client. So for the analysis, we conclude on how we calculate. Is it the accumulated saving is enough for retirement day or else? And for the conclusion, we put the recommendation and the conclusion of our client retirement planning. So, in introduction, let's tell why my client want to start planning their retirement day for their retirement day. So, Mr. Azlan want to plan for his retirement because he has children who are still studying in primary and secondary school. The question in mind that if he retire early, will he have enough saving to cover his children's expenses? Or Mr. Azlan need to extend his retirement year to work hard to collect his saving, or vice versa. That is where Mr. Azlan felt that it was necessary for him to plan his retirement so that he would suffer first and have fun later. For him, it is quite difficult since only working as an e-hailing driver because he no longer get the benefit of his employer EPF and himself as well as other factors. We go to the second in the table of content, which is background of the client. So the client name is Raja Nor Azlan bin Raja Abdul Manan, who was born in 1971 and will turn 52 years old on 9 June 2023. He is the second of 7 siblings, and he has married for 23 years old with Puan Nonilawati Binti Wagiran at the age of 49 this year, and they were blessed with 5 children, which is consists of 4 daughters and 1 son. For now, their children is currently at primary school and secondary school, and the first child is me, currently at University Sains Islam Malaysia for the 3rd year, majoring in Bachelor of Marketing Financial Services. Before this, Encik Azlan was an employee in the private sector as a station supervisor at ERL Maintenance and Support, Stadium Berhad, and had served for 19 years. But suddenly in 2020, the COVID outbreak, and Mr. Azlan was dismissed from work due to health reason and continue as a e-hailing driver as a self-employed under the Grab company to support his children who are still in school. As stated in introduction, Mr. Azlan has planned to retire when he reached the age of 55, which is another 3 years. left for him to plan his life after retirement ni. For the net worth values, Mr. Azlan currently have a asset which is cash equivalent in a saving account, investment asset which is the EPF, tabung haji saving and unit trust, also personal use asset which is house and vehicle. Mr. Azlan has two type of asset that in house financing, which is the Taman Eka Matahari terrace house that currently he stay with his family, and the Putrajaya apartment that he used to rent to others by 1,000 a month. And for the vehicle, Mr. Azlan has two type of cars and two type of motorcycle. For the liability, currently Mr. Azlan still have house financing with two house, and for the vehicle, for the personal car only, he need to continue paid, and all other vehicle are done paid. We go to the next part, which is financial consumptions of Mr. Azlan. So in the financial consumptions, to compare the situation faced by Encik Azlan between working with a fixed salary in the private sector and working on his own as a e-hailing driver, is actually quite difficult to face and adapt. But the struggle must continue. Since Mr. Azlan had worked as a private in the private sector, so he has saving in his EPF lah, not the pension scheme. He also invests in unit trust, and for now, Mr. Azlan has quite many of asset and liability. So in this slide, we compile the all Mr. Azlan withdrawal history on his EPF for the purpose of buying a house, investment, education and medicines. So I include Mr. Azlan EPF withdrawal history in the slide. As can be seen on the history withdrawal, Encik Azlan mostly withdraw his EPF money on investment for unit trust and for education. In this slide, I compile the statement of net worth that Mr. Azlan has earned at the end of the year of 2023. So for the total asset accumulated for his net worth, which is 890, no, salah, accumulated total asset which is 869,197 ringgit 19 cent. So for the total liability is quite high also, which is 151,766 ringgit 27 cent. And the after deduct the asset and liability, so the total net worth is 717,430 ringgit 92 cent. Quite high for the net worth, but we need to calculate the financial consumption of Mr. Azlan and the sufficiency of his accumulated wealth in the context of retirement planning. So I will use for the next part, which is analysis. So for the analysis part, I will do the first year income needed at retirement, and I will use the replacement ratio method compared to expenses method, and I will calculate the lump sum required at retirement to fund income need during the retirement period by using capital liquidation method. And also for the EPF projection, I didn't do that because my father don't contribute anymore in the EPF, which is Mr. Azlan don't contribute anymore in EPF. So I will show the retirement resource for Mr. Azlan. So the first step is first year income needed at retirement, which is replacement ratio method. Before we calculate the replacement ratio method, we need to know the current age of the client, the retirement age that the client plan to retire, years to the retirement, which is the retirement age deduct with the current age, and the current annual income of the client, inflation rate in the country, and salary growth rate that will grow. So for Mr. Azlan, Mr. Azlan current age is 52 years old, and he planned to retire at the age of 55, which is another 3 years left. For the current annual income is for the current work, which is 18,000 for annual, and the inflation rate on 2023 is 3.4%, and salary growth rate is 4%. So the formula for replacement ratio method, which is future value equal to present value 1 plus R. So the present value is 18,000. 1 plus 0.034, and the end is 3 years. So the total for future value is 19,899 ringgit 13 cent per annum. Mr. Azlan needs 70% of his last drawn salary to support his yearly income, which amount to 70% multiplied by the future value, which is 19,899 ringgit 13 cent, which is total per annum is 13,929 ringgit 39 cent. This is based on the assumption that Mr. Azlan desires the same standard of living when he retires, and the income growth rate is the same as the inflation rate. If he desires a higher standard of living, he need to assume the growth element is 2%. So the next is lump sum requirement. So the next one is lump sum required at retirement to fund income need during the retirement period, while using capital liquidation method. Using the earlier annual income needed to maintain the client's standard of living during the retirement as determined in stage 1, the lump sum needed at retirement is as follow. The formula I will give at the beside me, and I will do the two ways, which is calculate manually and using a financial calculator. So as you can notice, the outcome derived from the formula match the value compute in financial calculator. So now I will tell on retirement resource for Mr. Azlan. For the first, we need to estimate the EPF saving or retirement year. We need to know how much the EPF can get for the 3 years left to retirement. So the current EPF saving is 197,639 ringgit, and for the current salary gross is 18,000. Number of year to retirement 3 years. Annual salary growth rate 4%. Rate of return 6%. Inflation rate 3%. Inflation adjusted rate of return 2.9126%. And EPF dividend for 2022 is 5.65%. So I will use the financial calculator to calculate the future value of estimate EPF saving. So the present value is the current EPF saving. Rate of return is 6%. N is the number of year to retirement, 3 years. So we compute future value, and the total is from the current EPF saving. For 3 years, Mr. Azlan will get 235,391 ringgit 21 cent. The next one is future contribution, which is contribution for EPF that not included the bonus lah. Contribution for EPF does not include bonus, since the bonus do not guarantee every year. For the Grab, I'm not sure that Mr. Azlan will get bonus or not. So the total contribution at 24% of current gross income, which is 18,000, is 24% of 18,000 is equal to 4,320 ringgit. So for the salary growth rate is 4%. EPF dividend is 5.65%. We will use the formula that I state here, and we will calculate the future contribution of Mr. Azlan at the age of 55 years. As per beside me, I will compile it. So the total is 14,242 ringgit 91 cent. So how to calculate the total EPF value at the age of 55? We need to take the estimate EPF saving, deduct with the future contribution. So you will get 221,148 ringgit 30 cent for the total EPF value at the age of 55 after deduct the future contribution. So the total EPF value is the total retirement resource of Mr. Azlan. So how we calculate the retirement, which is surplus or deficit? We need to deduct retirement resource that we calculate at B just now. We deduct with the retirement capital sum needed that we calculate on the lump sum part. On the lump sum requirement at retirement to fund income need during the retirement period, we deduct with the retirement resource. Retirement resource deduct with capital sum needed, lump sum needed. So we'll get the surplus, retirement fund surplus, which is 6,144 ringgit 65 cent. It is the surplus, not the deficit. Even though the surplus is quite little, but still surplus. So insyaAllah it will be good. So to be concluded that Mr. Azlan, even though Mr. Azlan said that he think that his accumulation is not will not he will not survive with his accumulation. But for me, we will find the way to so as a retirement planner, I would suggest Mr. Azlan for extend his retirement age to 60 years old to continue accumulate his saving. Either he want to contribute in EPF or not, but he need to find way to clear his debt, to clear all his liability, and then he will get the net of accumulate of his saving. Okay, thank you.